Welcome to the broadcast for the webinar. We're just checking the sound to make sure everything's working okay. In this video, we're going to be looking at uploading video and pictures to Google Classroom using our iPad or our smartphones. Okay, we'd like to say hello and welcome to the webinar this afternoon. This is Rosie Castle, and I'm here with
Larissa Uceda. Hi.
And thanks for joining us. This is the Google Classroom Intermediate webinar, and we see that we have several people already have jumped right into that discussion board. Thanks a lot.
Just a reminder that to click on the discussion board and press F5 to refresh. And I hadn't been doing that, so I saw a couple people were there, and I just did, and it was like, whoa, everyone's here.
We like those kind of surprises.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you haven't taken the opportunity yet to type into the discussion board, just go ahead and click on New Thread and then type in hello and the school that you're currently working at. And then we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so yesterday, Google made some changes in Google Classroom. So these are some things that are really new in Google Classroom. This was really exciting when Larissa and I saw this yesterday. This is something that we know several people have been asking for. Now you can add multiple teachers in the same Google Classroom. I know lots of you are so excited. We couldn't hold back our excitement. And so whenever we jump over into the Google Classroom, you'll see how you can do this. These are just some screenshots. But when you invite another teacher, the teacher will have to accept, and then both of you can be working inside the same classroom. You can be making the assignments, making the announcements, editing those announcements, grading, giving students feedback. It's really exciting. Another feature that they have added in Google Classroom is you can create your announcements, create your assignments ahead of time, and those can be saved as drafts. And you'll be seeing us working with that today in the webinar. So that's a great feature, so that way you don't automatically have to click assign or click post. So that's another great feature that they've added. So Google is listening whenever teachers say these are some of the things that we would like to have. Okay, so some of the other things that we just wanted to give you as reminders, in Google Classroom, you can upload a photo as your class theme, and that's over here when you go into your Google Classroom. Another feature that some teachers would ask about is, can I sort my students? Maybe their first name or their last name. And so when you click on that Students tab, you can sort your students by their first name or last name. So again, that's another feature that has been updated, but it's not in their most recent update. Okay, so how's it going over there, Larissa?
Good. We have a lot of people have checked in, and I think they're listening. If you have questions along the way, please feel free to post them. I'll be watching.
Okay, so we're just going to get right into Google Classroom and talk about some of the new things that we have for this webinar. We're going to be going straight into the About section. So I'm going to go into my Google Classroom. Here in the About section, this is where you would also see that I have invited. You can see that I was the original teacher in the classroom, and this is where I've added Larissa.
Thanks, Rosie.
But this is also where you can invite a teacher, okay? So that was at the About section. Now, at your About section, this is a great place to add additional resources that you want for your students or for your colleagues if you are sharing a Google Classroom and you're working together, or you've got maybe doing this as a PD, okay? So one of the things you could do is you could add materials, go to providing them with a link, click add, click post, and So right here is an example of providing students with a link. Down below this is where you can have in your Google Drive created a resource. So say you're working on a project where you want students to have pictures. And so I created a Google Drive. In my Google Drive, I create a folder, and in that folder, I put pictures that I want my students to have access to. And then when I open that Google Drive, it gives me a link to that. And so what I do is tell my students, go to my About page, open up this, and then here are all those pictures I want my students to use. So this way my students aren't having to go out onto the Google and search for them. I've provided that for them. Another resource you could do maybe for colleagues is the same sort of thing in Google Drive, create a folder and provide them with resources, or maybe you share the drive and you just want to have everyone to have access to that. Okay, so again, these are just different things you could set up inside of the About section.
And it's nice because you kind of know right where they are instead of the stream is changing all the time.
Exactly. So again, this was at the About section. You would click on Add Materials. And this is just like whenever you're doing an announcement or a post. You could use the paperclip. It could come from Google Drive, a YouTube video, or just attach a link. Okay. Now, this is one of those fun tips that you've got in Google Classroom. Now, this is something that a teacher can do or a student can do. Okay. We're going to go over here to our hot dogs, which is our menu setting. I clicked on it, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to where it says Settings. I want to click on this. Right here, it says Change Profile Picture. Because I know lots of us might not even have this set up yet. So if you click Change Profile Picture, you have different options here. You can even just take your picture with a webcam.
Do it, Rosie.
So if I click Webcam, you have to allow this feature to be turned on. And sometimes you do get a message box that pops up here and you have to click Allow also. Then the webcam will take your picture. You have to click Take Snapshot. It comes over on the side. So I set as my profile. Hi, everyone. It's thinking. And as you can see right here, it changed my profile picture. Now, if you don't want to use your webcam picture, okay, you can have maybe a picture that you've already taken or a picture that you found off the internet, okay, and so that would be something that's saved onto your computer, and that's a different picture that you can use. Something else that is inside of settings is this email notification. It is default that it's going to be checked. You can uncheck this because what's happening is every time someone comments or posts something in your stream in your Google Classroom, you're getting an email notification sent to you. So if you uncheck this, you will not be getting those email notifications. It's just your preference, what you would like to have. Okay, so to get out of this, you would click on your hot dogs. You would scroll back up to the top and click on the house. Okay, so now we're going to jump over and get into some of the really fun features, these new features. Okay, so a collaborative group assignment in Google Classroom. This is what I've been ready for. This is what I've been waiting on. We want you to be thinking about this while we're going through this activity, and we want you to be thinking about what types of assignments could you possibly use this collaborative feature with? Or do you think this would work in your classroom? How do you think it might work in your classroom?
So Rosie, after you go through it, then we'll have that question posted so people can, these same questions, they can comment in the discussion board.
Yes. Okay, So here we go. We're going to jump right over into this. Okay, so I'm going into my classroom. Okay, and this is one of those new features in Google Classroom.
Let's see it. Is it the draft?
It's the draft
Cool.
feature. Okay, so what I did already, and my students haven't seen it yet, is I created this assignment already, and it's sitting here in draft. So all I have to do is open it up. Okay, click on it. There it is. Isn't that great? Okay, I've already done the work.
I think we might be a little more excited, but they might be just as excited. It's hard to tell.
I think a lot of people were waiting on this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've already done this work, and it was so nice. So now I even did the due date.
Oh, nice.
Okay, you know how lots of people were asking.
Right. They want to put them in ahead of time.
That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, so I already set that due date ahead of time. Now, I want to walk through this so everybody gets an understanding of what we're asking here in this collaborative assignment. I'm going to be asking students to work together on a research project. They're going to be working with a partner, and then they're going to be sharing a document. There's only going to be one student turning this in. And you're going to see this whole process together, and you're going to see how it's going to work inside of Google Classroom. We're excited to share this with you. Okay, so I created this. I am not attaching anything to this assignment. Okay, so I've got everything written up here, and I'm going to click Assign because now I'm ready to assign it. Students will see the assignment immediately. Yes, I'm ready to assign. Okay, so now that I've assigned it, I'm going to go over to the student view and see how this looks. So I'm going to go into Google Classroom, go into the class. There it is, right there in my stream. Okay. So what my teacher has asked me to do is she's already assigned who my partner is, so I don't have this free choice. She's already told me who I'm working with, okay? I'm supposed to work with an assigned partner and write an essay on a rainforest. She's already told me that I am the group leader, okay? So I'm supposed to create a new document. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm supposed to create a new document because I'm the group leader. I'm going to go back in the instructions and see what else I'm supposed to do. Okay, so I created a new document. The next step was I'm supposed to make sure to put both partner names in the file name. And as the group leader, I'm supposed to share the document with my partner. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to open up the document. I'm going to click on the file name. Well, there's my name as the group leader, and I'm going to add my other partner, which happens to be Larissa Student. So up in the file name, you'll see the two students' names. The first one is the group leader, okay? And then the second direction here was that I needed to share this with the person I'm working with, okay? So that was Larissa Student, okay? I'm going to uncheck the email notification because Larissa Student knows this is coming. I'm going to click OK. Okay, so now what's happening is both partners can collaborate on this document, the group leader and their partner. Now this document is automatically already shared with the teacher. So this teacher has rights to this too. How's it going over there, Larissa? Anybody jumping in?
I think they're just watching, which is fine, because we'll discuss after. So, yep.
Okay.
We have a few more people with us, so welcome.
Okay. So we also are able to, I'm going to go back and check the directions and see what the teacher has asked us to do. It says the partner must go to the Google Drive to find the file, and it gives the file name. This is a quick, easy way that if students ever needed to go to their Google Drive and search for something, instead of them searching through a lot of documents, just up in that search box, they could type quickly for like number 5, and it would find that file quickly. So the partner would quickly go to their Google Drive, open up that document, and they could work on it with the group leader, okay? So.
Or they could go to the shared with me, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Great. Okay. So the students have worked together. They've created this document. So let's see how it looks for the teacher. Oh, before we forgot this step, okay? Because who's going to be the one turning in the work?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So in the directions, it does say that the group leader will be the one that turns in the document, okay? And that all other partners in the group must mark done for the assignment. So I'm just going to jump over here and show you what that looks like, okay? So because this is the group leader, they have the button for turn in, and because they created a document. The other partner, Larissa Student, she didn't create a document, so she would have a button here that says mark done, okay? And so that's what Larissa Student would need to do. And what Larissa Student would also need to do is down here in the private comments, it says in the directions to comment on who she worked with in the group and who turned in the work. So that's in the directions.
So do you want to turn this one in, or we don't need
Okay, so I'm going to jump over here. I'm going to click turn in. Okay, and right here the students as a group can give the teacher some feedback on how they felt about the project. We enjoyed working on this project together. Thanks. Okay, so now we're going to jump over and see how it looks from the teacher side. So from the teacher side, we have 2 students who have turned in their work. That would be the group leader, which was Rosie Student, and Larissa Student. Okay, so here is Larissa Student. And Larissa Student, in the comments, it says that Rosie Student turned in her work, okay? And down here at the bottom, we have Rosie Student because she was the group leader. You can see that Rosie Student was the one who turned in the work for the whole group. So I'm just going to click on this so that we can see the group work and see how it went. So I'm going to click on this, open it up, and there is all of that work that they collaborated on.
We were busy.
Okay. Hey, see how fast we work together? Okay, so as you can see, both names up here of the partners so that the teacher can easily see. They also put their names on the document. But I see something else here on the document. This teacher has already gone in and given the students some comments on the document. Now this is something that you will be working on the online PD. So this is just going in, highlighting, clicking on comments, or you can click on comments up here on the toolbar and giving the students some feedback with commenting, okay? And so this is one way of giving feedback to your students is through commenting. So you can close this out. And then there's the grading portion that the teacher can do. And we've already gone in here and given the students a grade, but you know, we looked this over and we feel like we need to update this. So we feel that we're not going to grade them out of 100 because we have a rubric. And so we need to click in here. And my rubric is a 10-point rubric. So I can type in here and change it to 10, click off of it, and it says, do you want to update? Yes, I want to update, and I just click on it. Okay, so now this is going to be out of 10 points. And so I noticed that Larissa on the project looked like they did great, so I'm going to give Larissa 10 points. And for Rosie's portion, I'm going to give 10 points. Okay. So that was, if you wanted to change this from what it is, you would just click inside, type in what you want, and click off.
Rosie, when you're at a good point, we have some good questions in the discussion board
Okay.
about group leader.
Oh, okay. So just one more thing in
Yeah,
here
yeah.
about giving
Let me know.
students some feedback. Okay. So now that we've done the grading portion, okay, once you've graded it, you can select the students that you want to return their work to, and you would click return. When you click return, you're going to get this box that pops up. You would add whatever feedback you have for the students. You both did a great job on this essay. And you'll notice here that it says feedback for 2 students. This is not private feedback. This is feedback that's going to both of the students that you have selected. So this is great because they collaborated on the essay. So this feedback is going to both of the students. Okay.
So one of the assignments was, or the questions, can you assign the group leader through Google Classroom, or would you just do it verbally? And I was thinking either way, you could have it posted in the room or verbally say it, or you could put the names in the assignment if you wanted to.
Exactly, exactly.
The other one was, if every student, is it possible to make, Stephanie asked, is it possible that, is there a way to make every student, or can other students submit it? So what if the group leader is absent, which is a good point. I was thinking, I don't believe the others can submit it and add it, but they could share it with the teacher.
Yes, that is something that Larissa and I talked about.
Yeah.
And at this point in Google Classroom, whoever creates the document first is the only one who can turn it in. Because,
and we did test that this morning,
yes,
or yesterday. Yeah.
We did test that out because it's whoever the original owner is of the document is the only one who can turn that document in, even though other people are collaborating on it. But that is a nice feature to tell Google that you would like to be added.
And there might be a workaround that they created in the drive, share it, and then one person turns it in. But yeah, I think there's some workaround either way.
Yeah, because what we're sharing with you here is a workaround so that students can collaborate. So let's just keep thinking outside the box, and so that way that our students can collaborate and work together. Okay? So just keep tossing out those ideas, and we'll keep trying to figure out more ways to get these students collaborating. So let's jump over and think about that question, because it sounds like you guys have been really figuring out different ways to use this. Okay? So in the discussion box, and you might need to refresh your discussion board window by clicking on it and pressing F5. What types of assignments could you use this collaborative feature with, or how do you think you could use this in your classroom? And we'll give you a little bit of time to reflect on this and type it in.
Rosie, we should have some music playing.
You think so?
Yeah, next time during this, we'll have some background music.
Turn some music on my phone. That is what we do in the classroom. I was really excited whenever we kept working through this and figuring out different ways that maybe we could use Google Classroom more collaboratively with our students, trying to figure out how to think outside that box from the constraints that it seemed like Google Classroom was putting on us. So, because I just really felt like we could still get these features in here. So I'm sure you guys have lots of different ways that hopefully we can get this collaborative use out here. Think about maybe peer editing. Think about possibly doing research projects. Think about possibly
Right, and that's some of, Kathleen just posted about ELA essays and research projects, so they could work together. Terrence has a lot of ideas, blogs, newspapers, presentations, or working on study guides or notes.
Oh,
I like that.
I like that. Yes. And it's not just in a doc that students could work together on. They could be doing Google Slides working together. They could, so creating a project together, okay? So don't think it has to be always in an essay, okay? So that was just one example that they could be collaborating in. In Google, there is a Google Drawing. And so that brings in more of the students who are artistic and they're more visual. And so that's another feature that's nice that has the collaborative piece in it so that students can be working together.
Here's a good one. Thomas said that it eliminates my partner has all the stuff and he isn't here or she isn't here today. Excuse. I like it.
Exactly. Okay, so we're going to jump on over and we're going to look at some examples of some work that you'll be creating in the online PD. We will be asking you to convert some files, you know, the regular files that we're all used to working with, like Word and PowerPoint. And so for some of these assignments, because we saw in the intro class, we're all familiar with working with those files, but for Google Classroom to work successfully, you really need to convert like a Word file to a Google Doc or a PowerPoint to a Google slide. And so that's one of the things that we're asking you to do for this portion of the online PD, and then put that into an assignment. Another thing that's going to be going on in this component of the online PD is then when you attach those from the Google Drive into an assignment, it's very important that you understand the sharing component for the students' rights of sharing those. Do you want students to only view the file? Do you want students to, all the students to be looking at the same file? Or do you want students to, each student to get their own copy of it? And this is a very important one down here at the bottom. Every student to get their own copy. Make a copy for each student. Because after you make an assignment, this bottom one goes away. So if you wanted to go back and edit the assignment, you're not able to edit and make changes to this one or add a new attachment and have each student get their own copy. Okay. Now something else that we're working on in this online PD is working with PFD, is working with PDFs. So, and that was something that I know lots of us do, and maybe it's only where our students view them. But some of us are asking, you know, How can I have my students work with a PDF? So that is another component here. Okay, so before we move on, we thought we'd jump over and show you some examples of what we've got going on here. So that would be looking at this assignment number 4. Okay, so this is an example of where you create an assignment where this attachment was a Word document from the ELA module, and we converted or changed this to a Google Doc and then attached it to this assignment. And before we clicked assign, we made sure that each student would get their own copy. But we made sure that we checked this and made sure everything was correct before we clicked assign. Okay? So that's an example of we used something from the ELA module, something that we didn't have to go out and create ourselves. We just changed it to a Google Doc. So that's something that you're going to be asked to do in the online PD. Okay? How's it going over there, Larissa?
Good.
Okay.
We had lots of ideas, so I think with
Super.
the collaboration.
Super. And hopefully, I know none of us have enough time in our day, but if you ever wanted to go back and look at this and maybe see what some other people's ideas were, that's something as teachers we're all like, hey, that was a great idea, So I'm just going to keep going with another example of using a PDF. And this is something that's available. All this information is available in the online portion of videos, how to do this. That's why we're not taking the time right now to go through it. This is an assignment, creating an assignment using a PDF through Google Slides. The student would open this up. Each student's getting their own copy. The student would open up this Google slide. This was a PDF, okay? And on the online portion, you will learn how to convert that PDF into this. And when the student sees this, they'll read the directions, they'll click on the text box, and they'll use a text box to be able to type on this document and complete this graphic organizer or fill in the boxes, okay? So that's using a PDF through Google Slides. Okay, so that was just a couple examples of work that we would be asking you to do in the online portion. Okay, now this next portion is something I got so excited about. Okay, this is looking at the Google Classroom app. And this is another piece of the online portion of the PD, but this is another great video that I found, and I was like, oh yes, we have to show this during the webinar. But while you're watching this, and some of you already might be thinking about this, is I want to use Google Classroom app with my students, or I'm already using it with my students, and if you could share with us how are you using it, or how could you use it with your students? Or the Google Classroom app is a way for students to, and so.
So after we'll have a discussion board question about that.
Exactly, okay? And so we'll just get this up and quickly show it to you. In this video, we're going to be looking at uploading video and pictures to Google Classroom using our iPad or our smartphones. So first thing, you must have the Google Classroom app downloaded from the App Store or from the Google Play Store. And then next, you just take your video or your pictures. And so we're just going to go to our photos. I'm going to click on the share button at the bottom. Click on next. I'm going to slide over. And Google Classroom is one of your choices here. Now, if you haven't chosen Google Classroom before, you would go to More. You would go down until you see Google Classroom. You would click on the toggle and it would turn green. Click Done. Okay. So now that you've chosen the video or the picture you want to select, you click on Google Classroom. Now I'm logged in as a student and I'm going to select the assignment that I want to attach this movie to. I want to attach this to assignment number 5, Rainforest. And I'm going to click Attach. Now that the video or picture has been attached, I'm going to open up my Google Classroom app. I'm going to go to the class, open it. That was assignment number 5. These are the directions. I'm going to go to your work. And down below, I can see that my work is attached, my movie is now attached, and I've written in the private comment. So I'm going to resubmit the work. Now I've gotten the green check mark saying that everything is done. Okay, so you can see here that this is an example of how a student could use the Google Classroom app. Okay, and so if you could be thinking about how you could a way a student could use the Google Classroom app, or maybe the way you as a teacher could use the Google Classroom app, or maybe the way you are currently using the Google Classroom app. And I just want to pop back over quickly and mention to you that to successfully incorporate and use the Google Classroom app, you do need to have all of the other apps downloaded, such as Chrome, Google Drive, if you're going to be using Docs, if you're going to be using Slides. So all of the other apps do need to be downloaded. And this does work whether you're on the iPad, the iPhone, the smartphone, Androids. So it does work on those other devices. So if you could just post in the discussion board, what do you think about the Google Classroom app? And what do you see about its uses, whether you're with students or with teachers? Possibly a good motivator. I've been very excited and been using the app. Maybe very easy for grading.
Don't give that away.
Sorry, Larissa, I just kind of like to plant those ideas.
You know they're downloading the app right now if they don't already have it.
They're just so busy getting into their phones and not posting
Hey,
to the discussion board. Wait till they see the next one. They'll really be heading over for that one.
So Stephanie was mentioned about for her digital photo class. Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
And I see that Kristen has mentioned that Yes, our students do love using their phones. So it is a huge motivator. And think about it, if we are posting these lessons in there, then this might be one of the ways that the student says they'll get on and do that work. They'll go
Right.
into that app, even just to check out something that you've posted, something for them to check out, maybe a link on a website that you want them to go check something out
For homework.
for a
For
home.
homework,
You know,
yeah.
it would be something that they just possibly will do outside of the classroom. Okay. So when we think about that access piece, you know, this is whenever we think with that app access, okay? And for the online portion, that's whenever you're going to see a video about for teacher and the ease of access for you as a teacher for grading, for getting in and seeing your students' work.
I have a question. Karen mentioned that she didn't have enough space to download everything on her phone. If you download Drive, it's not putting those files. It's just the app, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Karen, clean up that phone, delete some pictures. It won't take much.
Just takes a little time, Karen. That's what it does. Okay. So now that we've talked about that app, okay.
One other, Amy
Oh.
mentioned planning and grading from anywhere, which is nice.
It's very nice. It's very nice for us because we know how short we are in time. And think about it, not having to carry home all that paper. Okay. So here we go. We're going to move on. Here is our tip of the day. Okay. Whenever we moved into this Chromebook world and with Google, we were all given a new or another email account. And that email account was your RCSD one-to-one account. And so you might already be experiencing or already been going through the fact that I have another email account to go check. I've been getting this email. And so we thought this might be a nice tip, a nice use that you could figure out how to forward all the email that you're getting in your one-to-one account in the Gmail over to your district email. And so instead of us walking through all the steps here, you will be able to find all the steps on a PDF in the reference section on the online, in your online PD. But I'll just quickly go through what some of the steps are to get you started. And so when you log in your RCSD one-to-one account, and you would click on your apps launcher, and then you would go to Gmail, you would see a gear. You would click on the gear and you would go to settings. In that screen, you would click on forwarding. Then you would click on the second bullet and you would say, I want to click on add a forwarding address. Okay. Then you're going to have several different things that pop up, like you're going to have to type in what address, like your district email that you want to forward it to. There's several other things that are going to happen. And then this is going to be one of the selections that you would choose because you want to archive this Gmail in here because you don't want it to just keep sitting in your Gmail account. You probably don't want to delete it, okay? So archiving it would be a good choice, okay? And there's going to be some other things that it's going to be asking you to do. So just pay attention to that. And we're trying to give you all the details in a PDF so that way you'll have the step-by-step directions. But we have discovered, and many other teachers were like going, I don't want to have to go to multiple different email accounts and try to manage all this. So we've discovered this is a huge time saver for us and the convenience. So we hope that you feel that way, and we're trying to make your lives easier by giving you this tip of the day. Okay? So now we are hoping that you're feeling like a little bit better with, based on the fact that with yesterday's new things that Google released, the fact that you can have multiple teachers in the classroom now, the fact that you don't have to immediately post your assignments into the classroom. You can make them as a draft. And so keeping that in mind, I'm going to go back over here to my classroom. And in my classroom, down here in this bottom corner, you'll see it's a question mark. And with this question mark, if you click on this, you can give Google feedback. And that's one of the things they like. They like for teachers to be telling them what they need, what they would like, okay? Because if teachers had not been speaking up, they would have never known that teachers want to be co-teachers. They need other teachers working with them in their classrooms. They would have never known that teachers wanted to be able to have draft assignments. So if you click here on the question mark and you say send feedback, here you can type, I would like to have my students working together on an assignment, which is exactly what we were working on today, the collaborative writing. And click next. Okay. I'm going to click next. And I'm going to submit. My feedback just was submitted to Google. And what they do is they accumulate all this feedback together, and they, as you can see, they listen and they give us their feedback, and they appreciate this, obviously, because we're getting the things that we're asking for. Okay? So we hope that you've gotten something out of the webinar today. And we are appreciating all the feedback that you're giving us in the discussion board and in the online PD, because based on what we're hearing from you guys in the online PD, that's helping us figure out how we can best help you in the webinars and in the online PD. And so the last thing that we're going to ask of you is if you can post one thing that you learned or one thing that you might have a question about. And if you can post that in the discussion board.
I like that we're ending early too.
I'm sure you're not the only one. If you can just post one thing that you learned or something that was possibly new, or maybe something you have a question about. So we see several people are making like comments about their email, the forwarding, the, what else do we have going on over there? I see that Larissa's refreshing her discussion board. So don't forget that you might need to refresh your discussion board window.
Okay, so yes, we have a lot here. We have some questions about the email and whether you can forward it the other way. I know you can forward your district email. I'm not sure that it would have a setting that it would delete it after, but we'll look into that.
And I do know that there are special settings about the POP and all that. So that is something that we do want to check into that for you.
We have comments about that there's an app about multiple teachers, about collaborating. So one last question about reference. So tomorrow, or we'll email when it's posted, but exactly in task 2, we'll post this webinar there, the video. So if you need to reference back. After this, we have 1 week to go through the online portion, and there's tasks that Rosie spoke about in the online PD.
Yeah. Okay, so we want to thank everyone for joining us for the webinar, and we hope that you enjoyed it as much as we do, because we've just been so excited working with Google Classroom and learning all these new features. And so we enjoy hearing how you guys are using it in your classrooms. So, but we'll be here for a few minutes, and so if you think of any questions or anything else to share, just go ahead and post it. And thanks for joining us today.
All right, we'll see you online.
Okay, bye.